All right, so I decided for our second project in Math 154, um, you will come up with an Excel spreadsheet to calculate your grade in the class, and create some charts to show the differences in, first, the different categories of grades that you've earned throughout the course, and then second, comparing your grade for the different categories of assignments before you were able to drop your lowest scores and after. So this was taken directly from the course syllabus. As you can see, there are 5 different assignment types. Homework that you completed in My Lab Math, the Excel homework that was also completed in My Lab Math, quizzes, the projects, the one you already did and this one, and then the unit tests. And you can see the weights. So despite what's showing up in Canvas, where Canvas just takes the number of points you've earned out of total points available and calculates a grade, your course grade will be calculated using these weights. So you're going to open up an Excel spreadsheet, and I'm going to show you an example along the way. So you're going to create a column for each assignment type. There were 5. You're going to use these highlighted names. So your assignment types are going to be homework, Excel homework, quizzes, projects, unit tests. And you want to leave next to each of those assignment columns, you want to leave another column to the left so that you can name each individual assignment. You'll just go to Canvas under grades and you'll be able to see all the different assignment types. If something's cut off and you're not sure what to name it for your Excel spreadsheet project, then you just click on the name and it'll open that up and give you the show you the entire assignment name. So far that would look like this. So I have in column B, I started with homework, and you can see in column A, I left room, and these were just the homework assignments that we'd had up until this point. Then the next 2 columns are for Excel homework, and these are the ones we've had up until this point. Then columns E and F are for quizzes. So far we've had 4 quizzes. Projects, the ones you already did, which was sales order form, and then this one we'll call my class grade. And then so far we've had 1 unit test, but you have another one coming up Wednesday of this week. Okay, so you'll create those columns and you'll just pick a color. They don't have to match my color. So you'll have your assignment columns that will span really over 2 columns, because you'll need 1 column to name the assignment, and then the second column to actually type the grade in. So then you're going to type in your grades for every single assignment. Now in Canvas, it's just going to show how many points you've earned. But you're going to need to calculate your grade for that particular assignment scale to 100 points. So if there was a homework assignment that was worth, say, 15 points and you got 12 points out of those 15 points, you would take 12 divided by 15, which gives you 0.8 or 80%. So you're going to enter 80 into the cell for that assignment. And you should format your grades to be rounded to 2 decimal places. So these are just some random grades. There's not any one person's grades. I just made them up. You can see I put some zeros in there. But you would, so if you got like, say, 15 out of 15, then that is 100 that you would put in there. So how many ever points you earned divided by the points the assignment was worth to 2 decimal places. Those are the grades that you would be typing in here. So after you type in all of your grades, you are going to determine the average for that particular assignment type. And there's a built-in formula, average. So if you click on the cell and do equal and just start typing the word average, you'll see it. And you'll, just like if you were doing sum, and you would then highlight down to all the grades that you wanted included in that average. Again, we're going to form it to 2 decimal places. Do that at the bottom of each assignment column, but leave room to type the word average next to that calculation, and highlight your calculated average and the word average in whatever color you have for that assignment type. So that would look like this. Here's all my homework grades, the names of each assignment, the grades for each homework assignment, and then at the bottom I would have the word average, and then I would in here actually use the average formula to calculate the average of all these grades. So obviously we're not finished with the class. You'll still have more grades. So this is just a sample of, what we have completed so far. So after you compute the average for each of your assignment columns, then you're going to compute your weighted average using the weighted average formula that we learned in chapter 2. You're going to do this to the right of the assignment columns. Type the words weighted average in the cell above the calculation. Create thick outside borders around those words weighted average, and highlight your calculated weighted average in the color of your choice. Again, 2 decimal places. So in my sample, I came over here to the right of all my assignment columns. I typed the words weighted average. Over here, I can choose to do thick outside borders around those words. And then you have to use the weighted average formula that you might need to revisit what we covered on the previous chapters to get the correct formula to type in your weighted average. Okay, so again, to 2 decimal places. So you want to make sure when you're typing in this formula that you're using these average cell references so that when you add in more grades, and then the average will correct, hopefully, and that would also automatically correct the weighted average. Okay, so after you have created these assignment columns and entered your scores, your weighted scores, weighted to 100, you're going to find your averages and your weighted average. Okay, so then we want you to create a chart. So we're going to create a clustered column chart comparing your average in each grading category. So if you look back at the Excel homework on budgets, that was the most recent one that we done, and we had to create pie charts. There was a little separate section that just had the information that we wanted included in our pie chart. And so that's probably what you're going to want to do here. So I've done that right here. Here's my chart information. And I typed in the different assignment types and the word average. And then if you notice, I use cell references. So I didn't type in the 86 from over here. I used equals B22 so that when I add the additional homework grades and the average changes, then this grade would change as well. Okay, and so that way you can highlight all of these cells that you want to then insert your chart. And your chart should be formatted. So you use whatever color you want. You should have a title, and you should be showing your averages to 2 decimal places above each column. All right, so after you do all of that, you're going to open a second sheet, and you're going to copy over almost everything from the first sheet to the second sheet. But on your second sheet, you're going to delete the lowest scores according to the syllabus guidelines. You're just going to delete the score for those cells so that it shows where the deleted grades are. And you shouldn't have to actually recompute. It should just do it for you. So if I came over here, so I typed my first sheet, I said with all the grades, and then here's my sheet with the drop grades. You actually can, when you're over here, you can right click on it and you can choose to copy the whole sheet over. And so, that's the easiest thing to do instead of actually cutting and pasting. So now my second sheet looks a lot like my first sheet, but you can see I have deleted out for the 4 lowest homeworks. I deleted out the lowest Excel homework. I deleted out 2 of the quizzes. You don't delete the projects, don't delete the tests. And that should, as you delete those, it should change these averages, and it should change this weighted average. And then this is not, I haven't done this part. So this is not an example of the last part of the project. You have to kind of figure that out on your own. So you should have the second sheet that has everything from your first sheet, as far as your assignment types and your grades and your averages and your weighted average, except you're going to delete out those lowest grades that you're allowed to for each grading category based on this. And then you're going to create a stacked bar chart. So that is not on my example. You're going to create a stacked bar chart that compares each assignment category before dropping your lowest scores to after. So you're going to want to create that separate section that has that information, like I showed you on sheet 1, to create that column chart. Save your Excel file with the name grades using rated averages and your name, and then upload to the assignment in Canvas as an Excel file. It will be due on December 4th by 12:59 p.m. I will give you a copy of these guidelines in the next class where I see you, and you're welcome to ask questions.